got two things here.
Oh. Alright. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on. What do we got?
Keep going though, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you touched the fuck out of
dude.
that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pearl.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
It's my little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal that kiss from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Always have to steal my kisses from you.
I got two things again.
Oh. Alright. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on. What do we got?
Keep going though, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you touched the fuck out of that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pearl.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
It's my little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Always have to steal my kisses from you.
I got two things again.
Oh. Alright. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on. What do we got?
Keep going though, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you touched the fuck out of that,
dude.
man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pearl.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
It's my little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses
we're in.
We're live. Sorry, I was a bit
Hi.
late, a bit late on that one.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it freaking going, fam? Snippo? Strops, good to have you in here, mate.
G'day,
Normally
mate.
you're
G'day.
listening from the car, I believe. So
Been a long time, amigos.
cool to have you in on the Stram, fam.
Repeat highlights. That's very true. Add that to Pav's fucking wish list. Actually, I can help you, dude.
I was
Thanks
gonna
for
say,
getting some
highlights.
more highlights.
I'm not gonna touch any new highlight stuff for a while. I need.
Can I
You want to make a new one?
Yeah, just what do you need? Like a highlight video of
Yeah,
clips?
just literally, like I didn't do anything to it. I just got a couple of clips and put it together. Yeah.
Send me your one you've got, and I'll add some stuff to it.
Or just make a new one.
Make a new one? Yeah, can do that.
Yeah.
I am
And-
very low res. Why am I so low res compared to you guys?
Be something to do with
it'll probably like update because you don't look too bad on my actual screen.
it looks fine on my end.
Oh, now Cap's got kind of low res. Oh, who knows, mate? Pav, you
it's-
look sharp as a
it's
needle, mate.
Yeah, because that's my source.
Sharp as a needle. Sharp as a tack.
Very sharp.
Yeah, it's probably just my net being shit. I don't know, dude. Look, it's fine. It's fine.
Poor Pav.
After I sort out my I'm refinancing my house. After I sort out my mortgage, I'm going to.
Oh
Look.
my god, dude, you're fucking mental
Dude,
doing that.
Crazy.
Well, I'm with
Crazy.
Keystart. I'm with Keystart at the moment. It's fucking mental. I'm at like 7%.
I had a
need
key start.
I
like
need
that,
to
dude.
get the fuck out of there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after I sorted that out, then I'm going to start putting money aside for a new computer.
Oh,
So
baby. Oh
mm,
yeah.
mm.
UPC.
I've been. I bought a raffle ticket the other day
Jesus.
for like winning a computer, and I was like, I'll take the new computer, and you can have my old one if it's fucked. But I didn't win in the end. I thought for sure I'd win that one. Fucking hell. You know when you buy a raffle ticket, you're like, I've won
Oh.
this.
Mm,
This
Snip
is it.
is fixed
Got it.
on 2% interest. That is literally the fucking
that's
dream.
solid. For
Yeah,
how
that's
long?
the dream.
Because
That is
That
very
is
low.
the dream.
all right,
Probably for 2 to 3 years.
that's pretty fucking.
Yeah, I really should have fixed, but I didn't because I'm lazy.
Well,
Another
that's
year.
Snip, I'm very, very jealous.
Then you join the rest of us plebs,
Boys,
mate.
this is very adult conversation. Home loans? Fuck. Let's talk
It's
about
good.
some
We
video
haven't
games.
started the podcast. All right, I'm all good to go. Shall we kick it?
You get-
Yes, we can. You got.
Wait, I clicked the wrong button.
Mm-hmm.
Cap, do you have your timer?
I do.
I actually have a file that is called Cap and Grizz that has all the Cap and Grizz
Nice
highlights in it.
I think you
So-
sent me some of them, but I haven't. I've downloaded them, but I haven't made the new.
All right, I'm ready when you are, Pav. Just
Cool. I'm just
pull the lever, Kronk.
putting my timer on.
They're on the lever. Crap.
Timer.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And
I got. You
I
got.
need to record.
We
In
got
3,
everybody.
2, 1.
G'day and welcome to Oceanic Gaming Radio, your one-stop shop for all freaking things gaming. Bit of Aussie flair as well in there for good measure. Yeah, it's a Tuesday night. We're recording a day late, and we'll reveal all as to why that's the case very shortly, as per our weekly poll. But my name's Captain Perth. You can call me Capo, and alongside me, as always, every bloody week we've got Grizzly Gaming 86 and Pav Loverface. Fellas, how are we? We'll start with Pav. You,
Whoa.
how you doing?
Doing
What's
good,
new?
man. Doing good. Nothing too new. Just another day. Had a big weekend. Another big weekend. But
Yeah,
Going
you got to chill
good.
out on that, dude.
I know.
You're a freaking
You're
slow
too busy,
down.
Pav. You're busy, man. Just
No.
get the fingers in all those pies, mate.
I'm trying.
Kicking goals.
Dude, gotta
Remove-
hustle.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to hustle.
Yeah.
It's important. Hustling is very important.
I say that, but it's just I'm literally just hanging out with friends and having a good old time.
Pav, I did see on some socials that you watched some League of Legends in a bar somewhere.
Look, for the record, not good at MOBAs, don't really understand anything. Played maybe
Mhm.
half a tutorial of League in my lifetime, but the League Championships was unreal. It was
Yeah,
such
it's
it was
good.
such like a fun day. It was extreme. I think what helped was that the actual match itself was so close, and it was a real underdog story. Like from the first game, they got absolutely slammed. T1, I think, was the team. They were absolutely demolished the other team. Was it DRX? I hope it was DRX.
DRX, okay.
I think that's the team that won.
Never heard of them.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
So,
no good.
actually,
they-
Strops is saying in
they
chat
oh,
because I do
DRC?
remember.
T1.
DRC?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Okay.
DRX.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
DRX. You're
It was.
correct.
Look at me.
So
But-
Faker's super hyper popular.
Mhm.
And I believe he plays for T1. Can you remember that guy?
So yeah, he was
Yeah.
with T1, but then there was another guy on DRX that has got to the finals 6 years in a row, but never quite got to the top.
Oh,
like
man.
puppy.
So
Yeah.
Kind of.
well, yeah.
Dota's got their own that
So he managed to, and he's just about at the end of his career, so there's not too many chances left. So,
guy. Oh, and he actually got it. That's
and he
such
got-
a fucking pog.
he got it. He got it.
Yeah, there was
he-
actually a story from Dota this year. A guy called Matumba Man who has basically retired this year, and this was kind of like his last chance at a TI win, and just didn't get it. And
Yeah.
it was actually quite kind of sad, like seeing guys like that try for so long,
yeah.
not get anything.
Strops in chat is reminding that it was Def, the guy from DRX that been to finals a few times. Yeah, it was such like you can see everyone in the bar was like just cheering. It was such a good time, dude.
It would have been
Awesome.
electric, dude. I would have loved to
100%.
have gone and seen the TI in a similar
yeah.
vein, at a pub or something.
Speaking of
Obviously
which.
couldn't make it. But, well, yeah, absolutely. It was, the potential was available, but baby duties, etc. So
Esports in general, though, boys, how hype is it? I just love it. Such a good,
it's sick.
good scene.
It's so
It is
good.
sick. Yeah.
I hope
I'm
it becomes
just-
more mainstream.
I'm just
Me too,
entering the
mate.
world of esports,
Absolutely.
and I'm fucking loving it. It's so good.
Very
Yeah.
good.
So good. Anything else, Pav, or was that basically the weekend?
That was about it. Oh, Saturday I got to spend some time with our good friends at Nerds of the West. Played some board games with them.
Oi,
Yeah, dude.
shout
And
out
that
to
was on
Nerds of the
stream,
West.
yeah.
Shout out to Nerds of the West. The video will be up on their YouTube pretty soon. It was a tutorial on a game called Unfathomable. And
Ooh,
yeah,
it's a board game. Pav,
board
was
game.
it?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah, they're a board game
Oh.
channel and they play a whole
Very
lot of board games. Definitely.
So how do
recommend.
you learn that then, mate?
I I got a crash course. I got a crash 5-minute course.
Yeah,
before
but
we
if
went
it's
live.
unfathomable, how do you fucking learn it?
Dude, I didn't know what the fuck I was
You
doing.
just fucking by the seat of your pants.
Yeah, Unfathomable was a correct name because I was lost from start to end.
Love it. Oh well, I'm glad you had a good weekend, mate.
Good
Yeah.
times, dude.
I
Good
meant to
times.
tune into the Nerds of the West thing, but I think I was having a nap at that time.
That's fair.
Yeah, dude,
So-
I fucking totally forgot.
You got to
as
get
well.
those naps
I
when
think-
you can, Cap.
Oh, big time.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Get him
Uh,
in there.
But Grizzlo, what about you, mate? How was your weekend?
Well, firstly, it's been a long time since I've had a good chat on the old podcast. And I want to thank Nick Taylor
yeah.
dearly for
You've been gone
filling
for
in
fucking
me
ages.
while I was gone. He did an
Yeah.
absolutely stellar job. So
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah,
very
Nick
much,
rocked
Nick.
it, dude. Big
Absolutely
time.
rocked it, mate. Just slot it in like perfectly. So
Yeah. So that was
and
good.
he also said that my shoes were too big to fill. I'm only a size 9, Nick. Okay, I actually don't have big feet. Small
Heavy feet.
kind of small feet. But Cap, I went to Singapore for the Dota 2 International Finals.
Oh yeah, I'm aware and
obviously,
very
as
jealous.
you know, yeah, with a couple of mates, and just as my highlights, probably my top takeaway things of the trip was I had Sambal Stingray, which was fucking amazing. Like,
Was it
oh
good?
my
Was it?
God.
I've heard mixed stories
It
about
was
Stingray.
So good. Ask any of the boys. Ask Pandy and Baz and those fellas, the dad bods, about Sambal Stingray because it was delectable. And then
Oh,
the
yeah.
Tiger beers was a highlight too. Cap, many a Tiger beer was drunk.
Yep. The brewery
we
went
to
dry.
this- Yes, no, definitely not. No, lots of beers consumed. But we went to this place called Gardens by the Bay.
Oh,
which-
that's yes.
Very cool. It's like I don't know what you call them. They're not terrariums, but essentially they're like a biodome, similar
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like a big, massive glass dome, like huge, like hundreds of meters up in the air. These glass domes and lots of amazing plant life and other bits and pieces. And you kind of walk through this almost like a spiraling metal platform that goes around right up the top, and they have heaps of different plants, and yeah, quite spectacular. And it kind of overlooks like Singapore City as well. So that was a definite highlight. But the Dota 2 was just amazing. So great to be there in the crowd, and yeah, nuts. It was
Grand
the
finals
atmosphere was
a bit of a shame though.
yeah, the grand
bit
final was a
boring.
shame, but dude, the games leading up to the grand final, like the
Electric.
liquid and to see Thunder Awaken and stuff, like some of those games, the quality of Dota was just like
Nuts.
it's getting to a stage now where, like, you know, these teams are all getting like therapists and what do you call them, like
Sports psychologists.
yes, sports psychologists and stuff to help them coach them through these situations, and you can just tell they're just so on point with everything and very skilled. So, but
Yeah,
dude, we're doing Mexican waves in the crowd, and like it was just like a complete vibe in there, man. I think there was about 11 or 12,000 people, and it was just it was really
dude,
good.
that would have been so good, and like obviously a bit of a cultural melting pot because there would have been people from all over the world coming to see this stuff as well. So
yeah. On the first day, actually, funny story. I don't know if I've told you this, Cap, but on the first day, we were sitting behind these fucking Aussie blokes that were just wankers.
What?
Like,
really?
Like, you know how you get Aussies abroad and they're just like a little bit arrogant and everything else.
Oh
and
god,
it wasn't a good
making
time.
a bad name for us, aren't they?
Yeah, make a bad name. So we made sure that we weren't sitting next to them on the second day. We went around the other side, and we got sitting next to it was it Koreans maybe or something, but they all barracked for Team Asta, who got knocked out. But yeah, they were excellent. They were also going for Tundra to win, so they were kind of
well, they would have loved that then.
It was great, mate. It was great. It was really good experience, mate.
Wicked.
I don't know whether we'll have an SEA TI anytime soon, Cap, but would have been great to have you there, mate, with the fellas.
Yeah, timing just wasn't quite right for me, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. If there's something nearby and we're going to do it again, I will hopefully not have the same issue.
Another baby on the cards, mate. You got to bang them out quick, eh?
Oh, mate, I'll tell you this much right now. I'm absolutely not having another baby. Not fucking happening.
One and done. Well, let's talk about that, Cap. What have you been doing, mate? How is the dad duties going? Are you surviving?
It's been awesome, honestly. Honestly, it's been great. It's been really cool having a little friend floating around the house. I mean, you know, the sleep and crying is pretty full on, but I mean, I'm kind of just used to it now. But it's just kind of trying to chase this illusion of trying to find a sleep schedule for a small infant that has no potential to have a circadian rhythm or anything like that. So, and you don't even know when they will have one. You know,
because they need to like eat every couple of hours. You know, because they're so small, it just goes through them. So I guess that like it kind of like bounds your time a bit,
dude,
doesn't it?
Our child is fucking huge. He's in the 90th percentile for weight, so we kind of don't need to feed him that much. So we're kind of lucky in that sense. But we're kind of trying to extend his feeds a little bit and trying to see if we can. He's actually been because he wasn't sleeping particularly amazingly. And at first we were just kind of used to it. And when we're talking to other parents, they're like, "Oh, fucking hell, that sounds horrible." Like, well, that's just all we know, baby. Like it was sleeping for about an hour and a half to 2 hours max at a time. And you can imagine that is pretty brutal over a period. But he's starting to have a few like 3+ hour sleeps, which has been amazing. So
I'll tell you what, Cap, hats off to you and Mia though, because you really are doing the old 50-50 thing. You know, you've told me that you do the up till 2 a.m. shift, and then Mia does a slot as well. So that's
and then we switch around. I honestly
teamwork,
I don't
baby.
know how people do it in like at all otherwise. Like it's just
Could you
otherwise
imagine being a solo parent from birth? That would be so
dude.
difficult.
I was talking to me about this. You know, a friend of ours is a single parent, and we just said like, I don't know how you'd fucking do it. Like, you know, especially like if your baby was only sleeping, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours at a time, like, and you're catching little blocks of sleep that, you know, you're cleaning bottles, you're freaking doing the housework, all this other stuff. By the time you actually manage to get to sleep, the baby's probably ready to get up again. You know, it's just mental. So, so, but yeah, it's been good, been really good. So, Theo's tracking really well, and
gaming. You and I have been playing a little bit of the world of
performing some gaming. I have indeed been performing some gaming. It's been good fun.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of said it last time, and the time before that, I think. But yeah, WoW's just been so easy to slot into my life at the moment, and there's huge XP buffs, so I've been leveling alts, and just
what is it,
trying out things.
78% XP buff or something right now,
which
ridiculous.
is like, I think someone on Reddit was saying it's the highest like XP buff of all time or something.
I
or
think
like
they're just trying to get people back in before Dragonflight. Is that their
for
strategy?
sure? But I think also at the same time, like it has definitely fallen on it's like the moons have kind of aligned, like in
the
fucking,
Dark Moon Fair timing and stuff. Is
the
it
Disney Hercules movie where the fucking moons align and then all of a sudden you've got fucking shit going down. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think we're kind of in a it's kind of lucky that it aligned like this, but also I think they're definitely pushing it hard because try and get people on board and level a bunch. Well, it's been good for me because I mean, I've now got like 4 or 5 characters that are like level 50, and then next week I believe Blizzard are adding the next stage to the patching that happens before the next expansion. And once that happens, they're opening it up so you don't have to level in the most recent expansion for 50 to 60.
You're kidding me. Oh, okay.
I'm not kidding you.
That
is 100% correct information from my mouth.
All right. So you're waiting to get to 50, and then you're going to level from 50 to
So I'm basically leveling all my alts to 50 now that I can, and then once that patch happens, then I am going to level them from 50 to 60 using other, like not using the most recent expansion because I'm over it. I can't be fucked doing it anymore. I've done it too many times. I'd rather just level dungeons or something else.
Smart.
So so that's exciting.
The dungeons have been fun with a couple of blokes just smashing some dungeons. It has been quite good.
Absolutely.
The other game that I played on the plane, Cap, a lot was Stardew Valley. Pick that back up.
Very nice.
And so did Panty and Pete as well. So we're all talking about our farms, and I was kind of just, I don't know. You know what? Do you remember Lackatooth, that streamer? I remember you should watch a lot of him. And you pick up these little like min-maxy things to do.
Efficiency things.
Just like efficiency things to make things like happen.
Yeah.
Like you want to get your silo before you build your chicken coop, and you don't want to cut any grass on your farm. So you can cut the grass on your farm, goes into the silo to get that, and you want to fill your silos up before winter so you don't have to go buy feed, and just all this like little metagaming things, you know?
Min-maxing, like almost speedrun-esque shit, right? Like, that's so cool though. I haven't really been playing anything other than WoW though. Pretty much just been WoW for me. I did download Scorn with the intent to play Scorn last week, and me and Nick spoke about it, but I haven't played it. What I am getting excited about though, Grizz, is God of War Ragnarok week, and it comes out tomorrow.
Does it come out tomorrow? Holy.
It comes out tomorrow.
Holy, how are we going to fit this into our WoW schedule, Cap? I only have like 2 hours a night at the moment to play.
I mean, that's basically me.
You have to get it in there somehow.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, mate, I don't know how we're going to fit it
in. Maybe Pav can play it. We can watch him.
No, Pav, not playing it. No way.
Not into it.
No.
I have no free time until next podcast episode.
Very good. Very good. This gaming podcast is doing really well with playing new and updated games.
Look, well, we will play these games, Cap. It's just going to take us a bit of time, mate.
I'm off work at the moment. Obviously, I'm caring for a baby, but I do have kind of time in my day just to load up things. So I will be giving Ragnarok a crack before next episode next Monday. So expect a bit of a Cap review. I'll obviously keep the spoilers to an absolute minimum. I know that we had a massive issue with some. I think the street release broke somewhere, and then people were getting copies and then sharing basically the plot line online, which basically bigger.
Okay. I've avoided all that. So
Blue Street calling it the Caps recap. Very cool. I like that. That's cool. Like that.
Also,
we'll be doing a Caps recap about God of War Ragnarok. So, that's going to be fucking good. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to pick my copy up tomorrow. I might wheel Theo down.
So you've got it pre-ordered. You're ready to go. You're actually organized.
I've got it pre-ordered. Yeah.
Okay, that's good, Cap.
Go and collect my copy. I've been burnt a couple of times with just places not having enough copies, so I'll just reserve it. You know,
I'm very unorganized, mate. The only game I It was Elden Ring, I believe. That was
The
it.
Elden Ring.
Mhm.
There you go. Elden Ring in the chat. Yeah.
Mhm,
Well, hopefully
mhm.
we get some Elden Ring DLC soon, Grizz. That's one thing that we spoke about a little while ago.
Did you see that
Hang
I
on.
added that to the quickfire cap? I
Did we?
added an Elden Ring story to the quickfire today.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Excellent. Well, we can definitely have a chat about that. That's for freaking sure. Because I've been meaning to talk to you about that, but obviously last week we couldn't because you weren't here.
I was not here, good
I don't know.
sir.
I don't know if Nick played Elden Ring, but anyway, look. Enough about this banter. Let's jump into the episode. As always,
Mhm.
thank you guys so much for being here every bloody week. We appreciate it. If you would like to support this podcast, you can do so in two ways. One, the most important one, would be sharing the fact this podcast exists. Share it on whatever social media you use, or just tell a mate about it. That'd be fucking awesome. Thank you. Leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform. There's actually the Australian Podcasting Awards. Is that what it was, Grizz? Australian
Yeah, there's an
Podcast
Australian
Awards.
Podcasting Awards. I have not. Apparently, my wife saw an ad on Instagram, and so she
Huh.
nominated us for the Listener
Well, there you go.
Award Podcast of
Yeah.
the Year.
Well,
so.
if you can be bothered, going to AustralianPodcastAwards.com and voting for us, that would be awesome. No pressure, but yeah, I expect first place. Anyway, so yeah. But other than that, if you so wish, you can also support us financially. All proceeds will be going to Pav's Poverty PC Fund. Thank you, as always, to our current Patreon members. If you would like to become one, you can go to patreon.com/OGR show. I think that's what it is. Otherwise, just look up Oceanic Gaming on Patreon. Anyways, thanks again, as always, guys. Sukai, Moosey, Caging Runt, Sergeant Paul, Lee, G, D, and J-Libs. You guys,
Absolute legends.
frack and rock, as always. But yeah, so there you go. Now, what do we got on this show for this week? This lovely Tuesday night, apart from Theo having a bit of a grizzle in the background. We've got a lot on, Grizz. Big menu, big full steak and veg tonight.
What's
so we
on
got
the
PSVR.
smorgasbord, Cap?
Oh, big time smorgasbord. Well, the entree, the PSVR 2 pricing has landed. We're going to talk about what that looks like tonight. Hideo Kojima is dispelling a few rumors about things that have been said about him and his studio and what they've been getting up to. Lionsgate are investigating an interesting gaming movie that might happen, may not, maybe it might happen. So we're going to talk about that too. MEWGENICS. WhoGenix? WhatGenix? MEWGENICS. The next game from the Binding of Isaac dev is being hotly developed, and so we're going to have a bit of a chat about that as well. And alongside that, also in development, is a new Deus Ex game, which we were going to briefly probably not talk about for very long because there's not an awful lot of shit to talk about for it. So, there you go. And then, as always, we've got an OGR poll, which we're actually going to go through in a second because the timing's just perfect. And as always, our quick fire with our brand new stinger that I want you guys all. You got a new stinger that Paz going to play later. Yeah, he's got it queued up. He's got it queued up, ready to go. Yeah,
this is news to me as well.
No, you got it, mate. You got the button on that thing. So hang in there, guys. We're gonna be playing it. We're gonna be bringing it to you soon. So there you go. All right, before we jump into everything, we did have a OGR poll this week, and the poll was to do with why our audience thought that we might be delaying the episode by a day. Essentially, we had to delay the podcast by a day for a reason that we'll share very shortly. And we asked what people thought or the reason was, and we gave three options. A, Pav has a hot date. B, Cap is washing his hair. Or C, Grizzly double booked. Now, Grizz, do you want to go through the the results?
We had 6.1% that Cap was washing his hair. That was my vote. I voted on that.
We know that I don't wash my hair very often. I could easily move that a day.
33% said Pav had a hot date, and I won with a 60% majority.
Now, Chris, did you double book?
Yes. but dude, I have a legitimate reason. My parents were up from Albany, and I don't see them very often. They said, we're coming over for dinner, going to make a green chicken curry on Monday night. And I went, okay.
Tasty.
So I just pushed the boys. So yes, it was on me. 100%.
Fair.
Well done. Well done, you Twitter investigators. You were very clever.
It just looks like our
Absolutely.
community knows us very well.
Yep, absolutely. So there you go. Thanks for voting in the poll, guys. We bring you a poll every weekend, though we've missed a couple in the past, but generally every weekend. Generally, you'll find it on a Saturday or Sunday. You can go and follow our Twitter at twitter.com/OGR show. And you too can vote every freaking week, baby, which is pretty cool. You can be a part of the discussion. So you can vote and leave a comment as well. If you've got something to say, we'll talk about it. Moosey said in response to our poll, all of these answers are equally possible. And then Dano said, I blame Grizzly Gaming double booking as it's a classic Grizzly move. And he was correct. So
It's
he
all
called
over it, mate. Who knows
Called
what's
it. PSVR2.
Yes.
The price tag's been announced, my friend.
The pricing. Mm-hmm.
Whoo, boy.
How many bucks, Cap? Talk me through it.
Well, it's a couple of bucks. I think the exact figure was $879.95.
Yeah. It's crazy. There's a blog post, right, Cap? And it has the thing about it is that gets me, Cap, is you get a PSVR2 headset, the Sense controller and headphones, and then they have like some extra things you can buy. Like a charging station that's going to sting you another 100 and something Aussie dollars and other bits and pieces. Dude, that price of $879 is more than a fucking PS5 console.
Like, it's pretty much, it's all, I think it's comparable, but still, right? So the big issue I've got, Grizz, is you can buy an Oculus fucking, what's it called? Oculus Rift or some shit. Their mainline all-in-one headset. What's it called? Oculus Quest.
The Quest 2 is coming.
The Meta Quest 2 is called.
Yeah.
Meta Quest 2. Yeah. That is like $790. And that's an all-in-one. That's an all-in-one thing. You can play games. Obviously, the games have to be lower spec because, they don't have a computer or something to do extra rendering and processing. But what I'm getting at here is your buy-in for the PSVR 2 is $2,000 basically, Australian dollars. $2,000.
It's unaffordable for you, the general Joe Schmo. Just to put it into perspective, Cap. So the PSVR 1 on release was $549, so it's got an extra $300 on the PSV1 release price.
Well, look, the specs of this particular device are a lot more. It's way more. Like the fidelity of this headset is going to be shit all over the first generation, right? So, they've got 4K resolution between both eyes, or per eye. Plus, it's a 90 and 120 refresh rate for both,
Huge.
and then all the other bits and pieces like adjustable lenses.
They've got like headset. This is what I didn't know, Cap. They've got headset haptic feedback as well as on the controllers as well, so you can feel a little bit of vibrations in the head as you're getting
which is actually pretty cool. Though I wonder how hectic they are. They go.
Other cool thing is that I've seen some like feasibility things of the eye tracking thing is apparently really intuitive once you set it up right. It's almost like a mouse where you're looking, and then you can use the controller to select where you're looking. So you basically
I did see you could use that to like select ammo type or something quickly, which kind of sounded rad. But I then started to do it with my eyes, and my eyes got really sore in about 2 seconds. So I don't know how much I enjoy doing IR tracking. So I'm sure they have an option to turn that off.
Interesting that you talked about the Quest 2. So I had there was an article I found, Cap, that compared some of the bits and pieces between the two. And I just thought I'd quickly give you a breakdown of the outcomes of this. So PSVR 2 has a better resolution and refresh rate. Apparently the Quest 2 wins in the tracking of the physical hand pieces because you need to have the controls in a camera view for the PSVR 2 to track the hand pieces.
That's interesting.
They do have cameras around the headpiece, so that it is doable, but with the Quest 2, you can have it like behind your back and
Yeah.
in your legs and stuff, and
Yeah.
it will track them.
I wonder if because you could see in the trailer for the PSVR2 that it tracks things like your finger pulling triggers and stuff, and like how your hands are moving, I guess. So I wonder
cool.
if the Meta Quest 2 has that functionality. Maybe not.
Might not have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So PSVR2 offers eye tracking in the headset, which the Quest 2 doesn't. The PSVR2 has the haptics in the headset, which the Quest doesn't. Here's the big one for me, Cap. The Quest 2 is able to connect wirelessly, whereas
Yes,
the PSVR2
that's the big one for me
doesn't.
too, Grizz. Like, I feel the main thing that's holding back a lot of these headsets is just the fact that they're tethered to something. And it just feels like shit, you know? Like, I know that we're not quite there with like streaming, because I mean, the problem is we have to stream a large amount of data to a headset. Like 4K, streaming 4K wirelessly would be hectic.
Yeah, maybe that's the difference, because you've got a high resolution stuff that you're running in this, right? So
Yeah.
it might be a bit tough.
And I
I'd
guess
imagine
at the same time,
better
because I
chew
think the Meta
battery
Quest,
life.
I think everything's on board in the actual headset itself. So I don't think it's. I think it's technically, you know, it's wireless because it's all on board, right? Whereas with the PSVR, it's using the PlayStation to do some of like a lot of the processing, and then it fills the gaps for the VR part of it. But yeah, I think we're still a while away, dude. I just feel like VR is still in the beta phase.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And whoever buys in at the moment is just getting stung with massive fucking pricings.
It's
to
like
just
Tesla's,
basically be a beta
isn't it?
Tesla. Sorry, beta Tesla. Tesla. I said Tesla as you said Tesla.
It's like Teslas,
really,
isn't it? I feel like everyone knows that they're going to be great eventually, but that it just costs so much money.
Well, absolutely. But they're like, I mean, there's parts of Tesla that rock, and there's parts of VR that rock and parts that don't. But I don't know. I think we're not quite there yet. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to dive in. I know I got real fucking excited about it when they first announced it, but this price tag is just way too much.
I will say, Cap, start of November, they also released another blog post with a bunch of PSVR2 games, which I think maybe in another episode we should go through everything that's coming out with the PSVR2. But I just wanted to quickly talk about a couple that kind of stood out to me as being standouts. Yeah. So there's a game being made by Supermassive Games, which is the same dev as The Quarry. Called The Dark Pictures. That looks like a horror VR game.
Yes.
Quite good. There's another one called The Light Brigade, which is a FPS roguelite game that looks quite interesting. And here we go. One for the people that are right into city skylines. There is a VR city builder called Cities. That's coming out with PSVR2 as well. So
okay.
I don't know. I feel like that maybe they're, depending on how all these releases go, it could be pretty cool. There seems to be quite a few games coming out. We see that Call of the Mountain, is it? The
Call of the Mountain, which is the Horizon Guerrilla Games game that's based off of that IP. Actually, they're releasing a version, a bundle for the PSVR2 that includes that, and that's going to be about $960, I think. So.
Yeah, right.
Dude, and this is the thing, right? So the PSVR2 doesn't come with any video games. Maybe it might have like an Astro's Play area thing where you can stuff around and do some cool VR stuff. But yeah, again, I just feel like we're not quite there.
So here you go, Cap. It's Christmas time. Mum wants to get you a PlayStation 5, PSVR2, and one PSVR2 game. You're looking at what, like nearly $2,000?
Yeah, literally $2,000, which is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, dude. And like, okay, like you might argue that the other headsets, like the HTC Vive Pro or what's the Valve one?
Maybe Valve Index or something.
Valve Index and stuff. Yeah, I think the Valve Index is quite expensive as well. But I would argue that I think their specs are a lot better than what the PSVR2 are, or markedly better. So I don't know. Maybe this is one of the cheaper ways to actually get a VR headset that it has some utilizes some processing device, i.e. like a PC or something. But I'm pretty sure there's other devices that do high definition streaming of stuff, but maybe they're not 4K. I'm not too sure.
I also kind of feel like Cap, that with the PSVR1, the PS4 wasn't obviously as powerful as like a PC was. So,
Yeah.
Running PC VR was probably a better experience. But I feel like the way that these consoles are catching up to, PC specs, maybe the PSVR2, we've got these quite high refresh rates and bits and pieces happening now. But maybe that is the way to buy that.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue we've got is like just the amount of resources required to create a reasonable VR experience is quite high because it requires a stable frame rate. Like it's not like these games that we ship on consoles that dip and whatever through the frame rates. You really need a solid frame rate, and it needs to be consistent across the entire game experience because otherwise you're going to get motion sick and you're going to feel like shit when you're playing your VR title because that's literally your whole, your sensory kind of input is being mismatched with this weird refresh rate. So we're at this weird time where we're not. We had this similar conversation for cloud gaming, and cloud gaming's not there either because we're having this issue with it's a resource problem, right? We haven't got powerful enough stuff or resources to implement in these systems at a reasonable price for a consumer, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%
you need to be
agree,
you need to be an enthusiast, like a big time enthusiast, to go and drop some big cash down on this stuff. So
maybe in that Cap, maybe the price of the PSVR2 is reasonable, given that you want to have a good quality product that is going to run 120 hertz, stable frame rate.
Well, this is kind of what I'm thinking in retrospect as we've been having this conversation. Maybe this is one of the better ways. I mean, in my opinion, if you want to play some VR stuff, probably the best way to do that right now would be just to go and get a Meta Quest 2 because it's an all-in-one thing. It's wireless. You can load up games that are specially made for that particular device. That's probably a fairly reasonable, way to.
I've still never been in VR, dude. Never been in VR. I need to fucking do that.
Oh man, we got to get you in. We got to get. We'll do a special episode where I saw this one particular. It was on Facebook or some shit. It was like some lady walking across a plank that was between two fucking buildings. And then there was this thing in front of her, and then a giant fucking spider comes down in front of her. And she fucking shit her pants. It was awesome. So we should do that with you.
There's so many good little things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, look, overall, Grizz, I think pretty expensive. I don't think an awful lot of people will be rushing out to go and buy this. Maybe waiting for, I don't know, like Black Friday sales or some shit. Has that happened yet? Black Friday? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Actually, that's got to be coming up. Is it November? Is it?
I think it's 21st. I'm literally. 21st. I was literally about to Google it to get it.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think people are probably going to need the deal sweetened a little bit more to jump on board. I mean, I definitely do. I don't know about you, Grizz. How do you feel about it?
Oh, mate, I'm the same as you. I think without me seeing what the offering is for the PSVR2, it's a lot of money to jump on.
Yeah,
and
when you're buying these titles, so this particular blog post says we're expecting more than 20 titles at launch. It's probably 21, and they've just gone, there's more than 20 titles. Mate, it's 21 titles, okay? I don't know that for sure, but still, regardless, that's not an awful lot of games, but also those games are probably going to be about $90 a pop.
Yeah, maybe even more, dude. Some of the PS5 games are 120.
Yeah,
right. Fucking Return.
I know, and that's another thing is gaming's expensive these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so expensive,
and it's kind of like I don't know. In my mind, at least, Grizz, like when I'm spending, $120 for a video game on a PlayStation console that I spent $1,000 on, and if I want to then open my PSVR headset that cost me another $1,000, in my mind, there is absolutely no room for mediocrity. When it comes to whatever
needs to be perfect, doesn't it?
That game better fucking light my pants on fire because otherwise, what am I fucking paying for? But yeah, so I don't know. We are again gaming's in a weird spot with these.
We will cover this for you guys when it gets closer to the PSVR2 release. We're going to break down all the video games for you and tell you whether we think it's worth your while. Won't we, Pav?
without having played them at all because we can't afford a headset. Maybe I'll go into like Kmart and surely they've got a display one I can go and try on. Guys, I tried the demo and it's shit. No, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so there you go. PlayStation VR, virtual reality. Now, Grizz.
Yes.
Hideo Kojima, the international man of mystery, our best friend. He's quite the enigma. He basically had a few things to set straight. There was basically a rumor circulating that he the next Death Stranding sequel was going to be a Google Stadia exclusive, and
That's
obviously
so weird, dude.
Imagine that.
Where did that come from? Where did the rumor come from? Do we know?
Honestly, I mean, these rumors are, organisms unto themselves. Someone says something studio. I bet you someone just said, imagine if Kojima was only releasing Death Stranding for Google Stadia. That would be such a Kojima thing to do. And someone went, oh, is that what he's doing? And went and told everyone. But yeah, he's basically come out and said, hey, no, that's bullshit. And obviously it's very bullshit because Stadia just got cancelled, leaving a few developers high and dry because they were exclusive titles to Stadia. But I believe they're working to bring it anyway.
Cap, did he also say that it's only rumored there's going to be a sequel? Full stop. Has he kind of mentioned that?
Well,
is that the way that I'm reading this, or is it we had Norman Reedus come out and say that he was working, or he kind of accidentally leaked that there is a sequel to Death Stranding coming. Have we had the word from the horse's mouth? Has Kojima said there is one or not yet?
I don't know if he's actually said that or not. From memory, I thought that it was confirmed, but because I definitely know that the whole Norman Reedus thing kind of came across, and he was like, "Oh fuck, I don't know if I should have said that." But he's been releasing some interesting screenshots. He's got a project coming up with Elle Fanning, which we don't know an awful lot about yet. He was releasing these screenshots of things. Well, it was basically a screenshot of Elle Fanning with the words "Who am I" in front of it. So, and it's a Hideo Kojima game. Do you know what I reckon it might be, Grizz? Maybe it's a VR title.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think you could do a pretty cool VR thing.
I could, and you're not getting at this at all, but I could actually see Death Stranding being a VR game.
Yep, just walking across
just
vast
glorified
swaths of land.
Yeah,
people will call that game a walking simulator. Imagine too.
Yeah,
I suppose if you're going to do that in anything, you might as well
do VR.
Yeah, might as well do it in VR. But yeah, so I don't know. Kojima's he continues to have these weird and wonderful things. He basically just said like, I'm going to be indie through and through, even though he was owned by Konami at one point for the most part. But I think he's basically had a taste for his own kind of ability to completely work on a project unhinged without any overarching, guidance from, publishers and all that kind of stuff. So he's probably loving that, being able to create his own kind of weird and wonderful projects. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what he does next. I mean, obviously we don't know. Well, presumably we don't know exactly what he's got up his sleeve, but
could be anything, Sarah. Yeah.
But he did also. So all of this was kind of came during a podcast that is run by Jeff Keighley called oh fuck, what was it called? Brain something or other.
Yeah, that's right.
Brain Structure. I don't know why it's called Brain Structure. I'm guessing it's just Jeff Keighley doing Jeff Keighley things and talking to devs and stuff like that, which is pretty radical. I probably should go and give it a listen. But anyways, so in the same podcast, he was sort of having a bit of a chat about how he's been batting away apparently ridiculously high acquisition offers to stay indie. So
yeah, right.
What I kind of was curious to, who do you think was wanting to buy Grizz?
Oh, From Software, mate. Be great to get Kojima on From Software. No, I have no idea, Cap. You tell me.
I reckon it's probably just Sony, in all honesty. I think Sony probably wanted to buy him. Kind of maybe even Sony and Microsoft both wanted to buy, and they got to, because I mean we've had this, continued sort of I guess these bigger publishers and companies buying smaller developers and just sort of trying to create these big development hubs, I guess. And PlayStation's went and bought Bungie, and they've had a few other bits and pieces in the works. And obviously, Microsoft's working on acquiring Activision Blizzard King and a few other bits and pieces. So I don't know. Maybe they both kind of put their hat in the ring and said, "Hey, you wanna come and work for us, buddy?" For
Wasn't there talk
$20
that
million? I don't know how much.
there's
but
been
yeah.
talk about Kojima going to Sony before? We've covered that on this show before, haven't we? I swear, at some stage, rumors or something potentially.
Yeah, probably. Knowing us, I'm sure that we've at least spat a couple
Hey,
of banters at it.
Sukai also says that Brain Structure is Kojima's podcast, Cap, which probably makes it even more interesting.
Okay, that's my bad. Appreciate the fix or Rooney there. He also said the whole being owned by Konami is exactly what it, which I assume was always the case, because Konami kind of had this massive, they completely deviated from gaming and went straight into pachinko machines and completely fucked their IPs over. So yeah, I can imagine he was probably a little bit burnt about that. So now I do wonder if this new Elle Fanning thing is maybe like some sort of horror thing, maybe, I don't know, like a psychological horror thing, which could work
VR
really well
horror
in VR.
games would be amazing. Like, imagine, I think that Phasmophobia apparently works.
Not keen.
No, Pav's not into
No,
it. You know what,
Pav's
Pav?
like,
I'm
"Fuck
not
that."
massive into horror games either now, or horror in general, but I was for a while. But I know that there is a massive market for it. I mean, look how Phasmo took off. Like, could you imagine playing multiplayer VR Phasmo? It would be pretty sick.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've actually got a few friends. I did a collab stream with them a few months ago, and they had a I not so much, because it's crossplay as well with VR and PC. But yeah,
Dang.
still not for me. But yes, huge market. It's insane.
Very rad. Yeah. I think obviously we had the major Silent Hill reveals as well recently, and Resident Evil seems to be going from strength to strength in terms of redefining its bits and pieces and remaking older titles. But yeah, be interesting to see what that is. Now, all right, so moving along, Grizz, you heard of Lionsgate?
I have heard of Lionsgate, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, good
these
sir.
guys, I can't remember exactly what they do, to be honest. Let me just Lionsgate. I remember them doing, I think they did 300. They're like a film, they produced The Hunger Games, American Psycho. What else did they do? Well, they did a bunch of other shit. Rambo, 2008. They did the Saw movies. What else they got in here? A couple of other bits and pieces that are of no particular interest. But
it looks like they got a gaming studio as well, dude. They've done like a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff.
absolutely, yeah. So
Evil
yeah,
Dead, the game. I don't
They
know.
do. I feel like, did Lionsgate do? Oh, maybe it was a different one. Who am I thinking
Oh,
of? They
wait.
did Fable.
It's Blair Witch, dude. They did Blair Witch.
Ah, okay. They also did the Power Ranger games, in case you're interested. But yeah, anyway, so Lionsgate are investigating the possibility or potential for a John Wick game.
Yeah.
Grizz. Have you watched any of the
I
John
did-
Wicks?
I did see that. Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of the John Wicks. And dude, I'm just a massive Keanu Reeves fan. I just think he
Dude,
is
What a legend.
he is like one of the most humble, talented blokes. I keep watching his TikToks because he's just so
Does he have
funny. I don't-
TikTok?
Yeah, he's got TikTok. I don't know what his deal is, but he had this massive, big, long baguette on a table, and he like pulls out his samurai sword, and he goes, "Hoo-yah!" And then it like just cuts, and you know how you see those things with it, and it just like falls in half,
Yeah.
and then he just starts making a sandwich. And it's just like the coolest shit. He's just really good quality.
Fucking
Keanu
hell, I
Reeves.
love
it.
that. Yeah, well, he's a good dude. So, I mean, and hey, presumably if we got a John Wick game, I would hope that they get Keanu Reeves to voice it, Grizz. I mean, I'm sure that Keanu Reeves comes with a reasonable price tag these days, but I mean, it's not impossible because he was obviously in Cyberpunk as Johnny Silverhands, the bloke inside Old Mate's head. So could be pretty cool. I think the whole premise for John Wick as a gaming protagonist would work really well. I've only seen like half of the first movie, but you can do a lot of cool shit with it.
They're actually very good, dude. It's like kung fu gun fighting.
Yeah.
and he does a very good job of that. And I think the adaptation to a video game would be quite good. Games that kind of spring to mind that are similar, I guess, are things like the Hitman and like things like that are story-driven
Yep.
kind of action first-person shooters that are pretty cool. So, yeah, I think that adaptation could work. I guess for me, Cap, like I always have these reservations around movies being adapted to video games for a couple of reasons. The first reason is they're often on a timeline, right? So they want to stay relevant while, say, a new movie's coming out and stay relevant in that picture. And that means that they have these like unrealistic timeframes for devs to try to make these games, and they might get rushed a little bit. And I also feel like any video adaptation to a video game, I feel like it gets a bit of a hall pass because they know fans of that movie are going to go
just
play the game.
It up.
Yeah, slurp it up. So there's a couple of games here, Cap, that we probably don't even remember because they were shit. They were adaptations of movies. Rambo, Saw 2, The Grudge, and Enter the Matrix all were like absolutely shocking adaptations of.
Was Enter the Matrix? Was that the MMO?
Oh, I can't. Was it? Oh, actually not. There wasn't,
because there was a Matrix
MMO,
which I didn't play it, but I believe that it was pretty well, respected
Received,
in
was
the MMO. Received. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
But like some canon stuff that happened in the MMO that I believe in the most recent movie they kind of acknowledged like things that happened in the MMO game, which is kind of cool, you know. So with certain characters perishing and this, that, whatever. So pretty radical. But yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I mean, movie video games. Isn't it funny? Movie video games or video games based on a movie can be complete and utter garbage. And Grizz, the same is for movies based on video games can be complete and utter garbage as well. But obviously it all depends on how they execute, I guess, right?
There are some diamonds in the rough there. There was a couple of the Lord of the Rings video games were crackers.
Oh, was it the
I think it was like Return of the King or something that was fantastic.
Return of the King. I think the Two Towers is really good. Those games were fucking baller, dude. So good.
And obviously a lot of the Star Wars games are fantastic as well.
Dude, what about the early Star Wars Battlefield games? You ever play those games?
Oh, I think so, man. I think so. I could kind of remember them. Wait,
those were amazing.
Wasn't Battlefront was obviously terrible, but that's
well, the more Battlefront is what I meant. I think I said Battlefield, but I meant Battlefront. The earlier Battlefront games were awesome. So good. But I'm even remembering, Grizz, like they did a what's that movie that Vin Diesel was in? And it's not coming to mind. Chronicles of Riddick game. I think it was Riddick, something from Butcher Bay, and it's basically like a cult game that it didn't get.
I do remember
well
that, dude. Yeah.
It was amazing, like so good. I've not played it myself, but I've watched a lot of speedruns of it, and for what that game was at the time, it was like crazy, like ahead of itself. Like it's just
pretty good.
It was the whole thing was like you were trying to escape prison, and you had just the whole methodology of what your character, what Riddick was doing. So that was a particularly good example of a movie game. So
I tell you what, Deb has actually said, remember the old Disney tie-in games, and I will go ahead and say Aladdin and Lion King were crackers on the Super Nintendo, man.
Dude, actually, the Hercules Disney game for I think it was SNES or PlayStation. Can't remember which console it was. That was a banger as well. Those games were pretty good.
So maybe we've got it wrong.
I think the first game I ever finished as a human was the Aladdin SNES game. I remember finishing that, and that was like the first game I ever clocked. Which
I'm on the.
You ever hear people say they clock the game
leaderboard for
anymore,
that?
Grizz?
Cap, did you know that?
What's that? Sorry,
I'm on the speedrun leaderboard for Aladdin.
Are you really?
Yeah, I was speedrunning it for a while on stream and just stuff. I've got like a 15-minute clear or something.
Is that the one where you're riding the carpet at the beginning? Yeah, that's the one, right?
The carpet ride is the fucking hardest section in the game.
Yeah, and it's that right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like near the start. It's like third level.
I remember as a kid being like, I can't play this. This was not made for my age group. On the box, it's like ages 3 and up. But yeah, no, the Aladdin game was baller. Grizz, can you remember saying that you clocked games when you were a kid? Like that was how you said
Yeah,
you passed the
clocked it.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, clocked it.
Yeah,
Mate.
absolutely,
Yeah,
mate.
people don't say that
Where does
anymore.
that,
I want to bring
where
it
does
back
that
in.
reference come from?
I don't know.
What is that?
Maybe something to do with the clock or the time finishes. You clocked it.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. That's
Stop
probably
the
about.
clock. Yeah, clocked it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Perhaps like no. Mate, I
He's
reckon
gonna
that's
look it
about
up.
as close as we're going to get to an actual
Mm.
explanation.
I was gonna
Have
say
fun.
maybe because you beat it in record time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be. Something
A
like
couple of
Mhm.
options. Well, there you go. Well, yeah, Chris. So, yeah, those of you at home who are big John Wick fans and Keanu Reeves fans, we may have more of a reason to be Keanu Reeves fans yet again. So there you go. We
Hell
don't
yeah,
know for sure
baby.
this is even happening yet. They just basically said, "Hey, we're thinking about it." Another thing they're thinking about, Grizz, is, and I'm going to skip one, and we'll come back to it after this particular one. But I just thought
Okay.
this is a good time to talk
Yep.
about it.
Go for it, mate.
Another Deus Ex game is coming as well. It's in very early development, but basically,
You rate
yeah.
these games, don't you, Cap? The Deus Ex
Yes,
games?
absolutely, dude. These are fucking excellent RPG games. You know, the Deus Ex. I didn't play the early Deus Ex games, but the more recent sort of, I guess, modern titles of the Deus Ex games, like is it Mankind Divided, and it might be, is it Deus Ex Machina? Maybe I've got that. Oh no, Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. I think
I have
Revolution
never
was
played
earlier.
a Deus Ex game, Cap, ever.
Dude, they're very good. They're basically, to be honest, they're cyberpunky. So
Are they? Okay.
yeah,
right.
RPG cyberpunky, and they were just really good. They were just excellent, solid RPG games. I think the later Deus Ex games weren't as good, but I mean, overall, the franchise has been fairly stale recently. I think they might be working on a Deus Ex remake or remaster or something, which is the earliest title. But yeah, basically, Eidos Montreal, who is now owned by Embracer Group, was originally owned by Square Enix. That was the big old sale or Rooney that happened. They're basically talking about what they want to be doing. They want to shut down the Montreal video game studio. So as formerly Square Enix Montreal, well, renamed to Onoma. So they're shutting that down. Obviously, they cancelled some unannounced game that was presumably being worked on there. And they're also
Stranger
working
Things
on
inspired Kids on Bikes got cancelled, Cap, which is a bit of a shame, isn't it, mate?
Kids on Bikes game. What the hell does that even mean?
That's what it said there. I don't know. Cancelled the Stranger Things inspired Kids on Bikes game that was rumored recently. So
oh well, I guess we're not getting the Kids on Bikes Stranger Things inspired game, Grizz bugger. I don't know how if I'm too sad about that. But one thing that they did note is that they're working on Fable for Xbox.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Yeah,
I assume that's the latest iteration of Fable that has been long touted by Microsoft to be coming. It's coming. So I guess we'll wait and see more. But yeah, they obviously did also mention in amongst all this. This is all coming from Jason Schreier, who is the the New York Times bestselling author and reporter. Man on the scene all the time. This guy has all the fucking hot hookups. So yeah, he basically had a lot of shit to say about what was going on with Embracer Group and yeah, so pretty cool. I'm really glad to see that they're doing something with Deus Ex. Again, he did note that whatever is being worked on is very, very early production. So, but I think maybe it would be interesting to see how early and whether the shaky reception of Cyberpunk. Again, they're not the exact same game. Probably Deus Ex is a little bit more sort of corporate-y. It doesn't have that kind of punky factor to it as much, but it's still got that kind of futuristic kind of thing.
As much as the neon lights and that kind of thing in there, Cap?
Not really. It's a bit more kind of corporatized, and it's about like the earlier game was you basically like I think you were like a police kind of guy, and then you're trying to stop this terrorist organization, and then I think you basically end up working for them, going against the corporate kind of sector, and doing basically every fucking cyberpunk trope of all time. So there you go. But yeah, so glad they're actually utilizing this particular IP. So hopefully they can continue to evolve and do new things. So there you go. Now, Grizz,
Yes, sir.
speaking of evolving and doing
Yeah.
new things, the Binding of Isaac developer
Yeah.
is and has been working on a game that we have sort of covered here and before, but they've released a big interview with Polygon about first impressions for their new game MEWGENICS, which looks interesting.
It does. And just to rehash this story a little bit, if you're a bit out of the loop here, but this game was first announced at the 2013 PAX, and then it was cancelled shortly after. I believe, Cap, maybe you can confirm this, but I think the two devs that were working on it split, and the game never come back. And then one of the guys got the rights to basically work on it again, and which is why we're seeing a bit of a bit of a return. But
I think what basically happened was the two devs, for whatever reason, I don't think that's exactly explained, what probably some internal dispute or something, they basically split the IPs in half, and one guy got the Binding of Isaac and the rights to continue to work on eugenics, and the other guy, that's his name's McMillan. What's his full name? Edmund McMillan. And the other guy, who was Tommy Reffens, something like that. Anyways, he got the rights to Super Meat Boy. And then
there you go. So both games did pretty well with Binding of Isaac. So
absolutely.
What we're looking at here, mate, this is it is a real-time strategy game with cats. So picture like Pokemon style fighting, stylized like Binding of Isaac is. If you don't know what that style is, it's very kind of like cartoony.
It's like cartoony, yeah.
But it's quite
kind of reminds
dark
me
and
of like
morbid.
Exploding Kittens, if people are familiar with Exploding Kittens, or like the Oatmeal web comics and stuff like that. That's the kind of art style you're expecting, basically. Sorry to interject.
So you've got you got characters and stats, like different ability types, different classes, for example.
And what are the characters,
Hunter,
Grizz?
Hunter, Mage, and Rogue. Are those styles? I don't know. Do you know more about the characters here, Cap? Because is there something that I should?
They're all cats.
They're all cats. Yes,
they're all fucking cats. Yeah, this is my mage cat, and this is my warrior cat, which I think is kind of awesome.
It's going to be great, dude.
An archer cat.
How much did you read inside of? Because it goes super into depth around some of the mechanics. Now, some of it reminded me a lot of Divinity Original Sin.
Dude, I had the same thought. Yeah.
Did you? Because they have these kind of environments interact with your with where you're fighting on. An example is if there's someone standing on grass and you use a fire spell, then they're going to take more damage from the grass burning and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah,
so.
And that fire can spread as well, which is what happens in Divinity. But like the environment that your characters are standing in, depending on what kind of environment, like you might be standing in that grass, and because you're a rogue, you get extra to sneak because you're in the grass, basically, which is cool. It's really rad. So I definitely like that environmental interaction that's kind of happening with this game. Now, it kind of looks a little bit like a chessboard with shit all over it, and you got these random cats with hats and stuff on and customizability. But I mean, Grizz, the cats look horrible.
Yeah.
They look
it's
so
just like
shit.
Binding of Isaac. Like it does look like that for sure. Yeah.
The some of the early animations that they've shown, like of like a cat hitting I think it was a cat hitting a chest or something, and his like whole limb just kind of like moves sideways and then just smacks this chest. It looks so stupid. So I mean, this game is definitely still very much in development, but it looks really cool. I think the cool thing about this particular interview, Grizz, was the fact that they were talking about how this game has progressed quite profoundly from when they first started with it. It began as this weird point and click thing where you had a few cats that you were kind of moving around in an open sort of battle area, fighting these, mice and rabbits and shit. But it kind of didn't work very well because,
and then it was like a side scroller beat 'em up they had. Yeah, and then
but you had
they realized
that
click
things and dodge stuff.
They
and it was
didn't
really
want to
awkward.
have a multiplayer beat 'em up game. That's not what they wanted. They wanted to have this single player experience. So how can you kind of monitor multiple cats? So it's kind of just evolved into this what it is. But one thing, Cap, that I know this game is going to be hugely in depth. I mean, you look at Binding of Isaac now, and the scope of that game is absolutely monstrous. Like people play Binding of Isaac for thousands and thousands of hours, and it takes you such a long time
Yeah.
to unlock everything. And there's so much in there in that game that sits behind it. So much synergy between all the bits and pieces that, like, I think this is a statement from one of the guys. I can't remember what you said. Who's the dude that's running MEWGENICS? Cap, what's his name?
Edmund Oldmate, Edmund
So
McMillan. That's the
This
guy.
is what gets me excited. Is this statement here? He says, "I rarely see MEWGENICS as a sequel to Binding of Isaac. In terms of how you take something like Isaac and make it into a bigger and better thing and expand on it indefinitely." So he's obviously got quite grandeur plans for this little thing to
Absolutely. To
build
flesh out.
upon, flesh it out, and make it cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
'cause
think.
Isaac's got a cult following, right, Cap? Like,
Oh,
it's huge, isn't
absolutely.
it?
But I mean, Isaac has a proven track record of being lovingly added to over time, right? And I think Edmund kind of mentioned in this particular article that they'd like to continue to support this game for years and years to come to basically ensure that it just always has new content.
Yeah.
All the really cool. I think it's probably got a fair way to go still. But
Yeah.
I mean, dude, this game's been in development for 10 years,
Long
which is
time.
crazy. And the iterations that Edmund talked about with this particular game is just crazy. Like, going from this kind of side-scrolling beat 'em up thing to some sort of weird RTS real-time strategy thing
Yeah.
into this more refined version of what it is now, which is kind of RTS-y, I suppose, but it's
Mm.
kind of like a chessboard thing, and you've got a bunch of different cats in there that have different abilities, and you use them to, I guess, turn-based, to,
It has it actually
attack
has
things.
some Darkest Dungeon vibes as well, Cap. So as your cat gets injured or downed, they gain these traits. Similar to Darkest Dungeons. So, like, the example I think they use in there is that if you can get knocked down, what could happen is you lose your balls, your testicles, and then you lose some of your stats for what's it called? Like initiative or whatever it is.
Yeah.
right?
Dude, that's so
Yeah.
funny. What
Shit
the
like that.
hell?
And if you get down 3 times in one fight, you lose that cat. That cat's gone. So yeah, a little bit of thing.
Right.
But there's also this other mechanic that's like cat breeding. So I think you can breed your cats together to like make stronger cats and like
Yeah.
the ones that you want. It just sounds so. I mean,
Which
for
I
what
thought-
the game, it's weird. I mean, Isaac's the same, Cap. For when you look at it, it's like, oh, this game looks a bit strange. And then you read all these crazy mechanics that sit behind it and all the systems that sit behind it, and they sound quite interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out, I guess.
I think when it all comes together, I think it's going to be really cool. He's working on this game with another guy called Tyler Galale, who released a game called The End Is Nigh, which is kind of like a side-scrolling, it looks similar-ish to Binding of Isaac. So obviously these guys sort of had a bit of an affinity for that style of artwork and indie gaming. So they're kind of working on this together. But yeah, I think it sounds really cool. One thing that stood out to me, Grizz, was definitely this whole idea of like breeding cats, and you've got to be careful that you don't breed too many of the same family together, because there's inbreeding and those cats can
Is
come
that
out
what
really fucked up.
happens?
Yeah, so it's just
Probably like 3 arms and shit.
yeah,
and
yeah,
like-
yeah. So you got to be really you need fresh fucking blood to come in and breed with your cats and stuff. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it looks really cool. There's even like some interesting stuff, like some cats have the ability to have a shit basically on command, and you can use that shit as like a barricade.
Yeah.
Which is
And I think when someone shoots that barricade, it can splatter on your other cats and injure them. It's like,
I tell you what, this is like the kind of game dev that I'd love to be doing, man. This is like the funny shit. Like,
yeah, you'd be loving
know.
that. I think
dude.
it's like endless creativity. You can just kind of do whatever you want,
Oh,
Make it
dude,
work.
absolutely. But yeah, so there you go. I'm looking forward to MEWGENICS. Now we didn't get like any particular time as to when something like this is going to be available. It's interesting. He kind of says it here that he sees MEWGENICS as a sequel to Binding of Isaac, which is just kind of hilarious. The fact that
They're so
not even
different. They are so
remotely
different.
close. Yeah. So look, it'll be interesting to see I guess when this game comes up. Or what comes out, but I'm sure it'll be very well received by the gaming population. So there you go. Now, Gris, that pretty much covers the majority of our main topics for today. So I think we're actually tracking pretty well. So we can have a pretty cruisy quickfire. But I think the cool thing is we're going to be able to jump into this quickfire with a brand new stinger that we've managed to get the copyright for. So I just want to announce that we are now officially endorsed by DJ Francesco, and he's going to be announcing the quickfire every time with his world famous stinger.
Yeah. I've spoken to him. He doesn't like it.
I don't care.
And he hasn't endorsed it.
You got to give the people what they want, Pav. All right.
All right.
All right. So let's start this quickfire off, baby.
I've spoken to him. He doesn't like it.
DJ Francesco.
Yeah. All right. Let's get stuck into
He's
it.
actually going to kill me. He's actually going to kill me.
Thank you for supporting this segment, DJ Francesco. All right. First one. First game off the rack. Well, okay, Grizz. Microsoft lets gamers know that COD will be on PlayStation for as long as there's a PlayStation console to ship to.
Wowzers.
How's that make you feel, mate? You feel good?
We know that PlayStation have got the rights to produce up to a PlayStation 10 cap at the moment.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what they've got.
What do you mean the rights to place?
They have some fucking thing that I looked it up the other day. You continue with the figure.
Is it like a trademark thing?
It's like a trademark.
Okay, I was going to say, surely they own their own rights to create their own fucking console.
It's a trademark.
So, there you go. Microsoft is signing on for quite a significant number of iterations. Grease, can you see PlayStation sticking around to PlayStation 10?
Yes, absolutely, mate. PlayStation 20, I reckon.
You don't reckon that they'll maybe get into cloud streaming and just purely do that?
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Maybe. I don't know. I think there's always going to be a place for physical consoles.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I suppose it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 10 years, I reckon. I reckon like cloud gaming and VR needs another 5, probably 8 years, in all honesty.
Dude, we need to redo the whole internet of Australia. So, for us to have good cloud gaming is, I don't know.
Yeah, we got a bit of work to do, but we can rest assured that Call of Duty will always be on PlayStation, guys. So do not shit your pants. It's going to be fine. Now, the next thing I want to talk about as well, Grizz, God of War releases this week. Yes. Exciting. We kind of did talk about that already, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate, guys, this is a fucking exciting week, okay? Potentially another Game of the Year game coming this week. That's pretty exciting.
I actually, Cap, look, I think it's going to be really close between God of War and Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Everything that I've heard about God of War so far, I feel like everything that I've heard about is it's built upon the success of the original. Well, not the original, because there's been lots of them. The last PS4 rendition of God of War. So, I think Elden Ring, God of War battle, the Battle of the Titans.
The Battle of the Titans.
Maybe we can have that
coming out.
It's going to be a poll, Cap, surely. Game of the Year.
Yeah, and then people will be like, why isn't fucking Slime Ranchers 2 on this list, or some shit, some fucking game that, we just didn't include because we can only include 4 options on the Twitter poll. Someone will get really shitty about that. But we're going to do it anyway, because that's what we do here on OGR. We like to stir the pot.
Right.
So, yeah. Now, the other thing, Grizz, God of War is going to be releasing with an armor transmog feature.
God of War's going to be... Oh, that is fucking excellent, dude. I think that, that's a fantastic idea. So... if you don't know what that means I assume when you find a piece of armor that you like the look of, you can transmog it to any armor for it to look like that. So rather than being stuck to the armor you're wearing, you can kind of wear any piece to make you look baller, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those, in the Souls games, they call it Fashion Souls. But for those of you looking to get the fashion God of War bits and pieces happening,
Souls games don't have transmogs, do they, Cap? They don't. No, I don't think.
Souls games do not have transmog. No, you have to wear the armor pieces, I believe. I'm I'm sure it's modded though. I'm sure you could probably mod it in. Bit of a transmog feature.
Anime waifu Dark Souls. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But
Transmog.
actually, this reminds me, like Cyberpunk got a transmog feature as well after release as a added kind of little here you go community. Sorry for the terrible release, but they ended up releasing a transmog feature. So if you're familiar with that, God of War's getting the same thing. Pretty damn cool. So there you go.
Very impressive.
But yeah, now Grizz, have you ever played Dwarf Fortress, Grizz?
No. Never heard of it.
I like how you laugh about this. Dwarf Fortress is probably I would argue, probably one of the most famous ASCII/text graphic games of all time. Now, when I say that, I mean literally using like keyboard characters.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's insane.
Yeah. So, Dwarf Fortress, that was the original game. It was like a simulator like dwarf thing. So you had a fortress, and I think you just set the dwarves to work and went and did bits and pieces. I never played it myself, but I knew of Dwarf Fortress and the fact that it was this ASCII art game, basically. That it was all it was a game. So a graphical interface. So they're no longer an ASCII game anymore.
Is it the same game, dude? Is it like literally the same game?
Yeah, it's the same game with just a new lick of paint, effectively. So,
Dang,
so Dwarf Fortress is a construction and management simulation and roguelike indie video game. So you probably like this, Grizz.
So, Cap, it says here in the YouTube video comments, this is the biggest game announcement of the year.
Yep.
Bigger than God of War.
Yeah. This is another game of the year contender. Now, it's interesting, Grizz. This particular game influenced games like Minecraft and RimWorld. So that kind of gives you an idea of, well, I mean, Minecraft, I think, was more just the idea of mining, but yeah.
Must have been one of the earliest roguelites to ever have existed.
Would have to have been pretty out there. But even as a sim in general, like, I mean, there wasn't an awful lot of games doing this style of graphics, I guess. Just, the whole idea of ASCII art, I mean, it was not, back in the day, that was just how you did games. But,
it is literally dollar signs, pound signs, X's, zeros, and commas and full stops. That is the graphics in this.
And it looks like a real like computer console as well. Like it's like black background, these kind of like really oversaturated like colors being used for the different things as well. Like, it's purely like actual ASCII art. It's cool. So if you're not aware of what Dwarf Fortress is, you should definitely go and have a look at some screenshots and see what people used to play back in the olden days. But yeah, so there you freaking go. Pretty cool. I thought that was very radical. Now another game that's coming out soon, Grizz, Atomic Heart. Can you remember this game?
Atomic Heart? No, I do not.
So Atomic Heart is like this weird. There's like, okay, so I think it's like a Polish developer or someone from the EU. Basically, it's kind of got like a Fallout kind of vibe going on, and it's just like it's set in the Soviet Union. Like technology is really weird and busted. Like it kind of got like the Nazi thing going on, I guess. But like it's BioShock, not Fallout. It's way more BioShock. Sorry.
Very gruesome.
Very much BioShock. Your character has like kind of electrical abilities and I guess can do fire stuff, and with their hand on the kind of like again BioShock, where you're kind of mixing gunplay with like electricity and different abilities and stuff. So looks pretty damn cool. A lot of stuff going on with kind of like automata, like machines and stuff like that. So that's kind of the vibe, and it's kind of set in this weird Soviet I guess parallel universe thing going on. So it looks really radical. Go and check out
it actually looks amazing. This was announced 5 years ago, Cap. This has been in
it's been coming out for ages. I'm pretty sure it was announced during the Game Awards or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it's coming out on the 23rd of February, I believe.
Next year,
21st, of February 2023. So yeah, if you're a Bioshock fan, you're going to be getting your Bioshock fill very shortly. Pretty exciting. There you go. Now, Grizz, Slay the Spire, another classic rogue indie, in a roguelike indie game. It's getting its
Yep.
own co-op board game.
Hell,
Are you excited about
yes,
this?
dude? Yeah, I have a lot of hours in Slay the Spire on my Switch. It is a perfect Switch game, roguelite Switch game, 100%. Now, Cap, tell me a bit about this. Is this a Kickstarter? This is a Kickstarter. So
There's a Kickstarter. They haven't obviously sort of fully created it, but there are. I think what they've effectively done, Grizz, is they basically just recreated the game in board game form for
Yeah.
the most part. So you basically know exactly what you're getting. Hopefully they're adding some new content, or I guess so it's not just literally just the game recreated. But I mean, it's still
Yeah.
pretty cool having it in physical form, regardless. But
Super cool.
yeah, it looks really cool.
Just having a bit of a look at the video now. So if you're familiar with the game, essentially as you're kind of working through the spire, so to speak, you'll take different pathways kind of leading to a final boss. But it looks like as you make your way down the pathway, you're kind of flipping things over to see how that interacts with your gameplay, and it's kind of randomized through that. Dude, it looks very cool. I think this would be great fun. We obviously played some crowdfunded board games in the past, Cap, with Dark Souls, the Dark Souls
Looks like
board
it's
games.
time to play another one, Grizz.
Yes.
I mean, this looks really cool. So it's going to be coming out with the 4 Slayers that I think are currently available. Is the Watcher available inside the Spire currently, Grizz?
Yes.
Watcher?
The Watcher is. You unlock her after you complete it once, I think. The Watcher
Cool.
is the purple.
Purple person. Purple person eater.
I cannot play her. I think cleared once with her. She's quite difficult to
synergize.
Yeah, she's got this weird mechanic where you can swap between like her stances and stuff depending on the cards you play.
So she's like a monk from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, regardless, I mean, there's already people who have had access to the board game and have been, putting up YouTube let's plays of the board games. So if you want to see how it plays, you can go and check that out on YouTube. But yeah, from what I could see, it kind of looked pretty much just like the game, and they've just turned it into card form, which is great. But I do hope there's some kind of extra.
Dude, I'm watching the price go up as people are pledging. Right, I just watched someone purchase it. So they have the original goal was 77,000, and they have got nearly 4 million raised. So.
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty good.
I wonder if they've got any. Have they got any stretch goals for this, Chris? I'm just trying to see if I can find anything about any stretch. Oh yes, they do. Daily reveals. So different packs, different foil packs, I guess, for the Kickstarter groups. They're adding harder enemies, harder bosses, a companion app that goes with it, that's fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
And they're continuing to add more shit to it, but they don't have. It's interesting. I remember when Kickstarter first came out, a lot of Kickstarters would do like goal-based reveals, but yeah, so it's a shame. I wish they would do more of that. This just seems like they're literally just revealing stuff that's going to be coming with it regardless. So not influenced by how much money they're making off it. So you're basically going to be getting the game in its current state, whether they make a lot of money off it or not. So there you go. Now Grizz actually just sideways on this one. Elden Ring's got a board game happening soon as well.
Is it Kickstarter as well, Cap? Is it?
That will be getting kickstarted as well. I believe it's by the same guys who did the Bloodborne board game.
They did a fantastic job, man.
Why is it Steam?
We need to play that Bloodborne board game again, man. That was great fun. There it is.
Oh yeah, we need to 100% do that. Maybe we might even try and get a stream happening of that one. But yeah, so the Elden Ring board. Oh no, it's by Steamforged Games. So those are the guys who did the Dark Souls board game. I think
November. Oh, that's coming up soon, dude. Available for Kickstart November 22nd.
I will be kickstarting that for sure, my friend. So there you go. These are the guys that did the Dark Souls board game, which is very fun, which is quite good. I think I prefer the Bloodborne board game, but that's just me.
Yeah, the Bloodborne board game's good.
Yeah, so very, very cool. Slay the Spire coming soon. Now, Grizz, Dota 2 is getting a new hero.
Yes. Now, very exciting.
What is their name? Mirta.
Yeah.
They've got like the whole Day of the Dead Mexican kind of Day of the Dead
Yeah, was
theme
this-
going on with this new hero.
Was this released kind of on the Day of the Dead? Was it, Cap? Or was it close
I think
to,
it was
or-
actually, which is like
Yeah.
such a great timing because it kind of happened the same day that the TI Grand Final happened. They did the
Yeah. Oh,
the
man.
All Star match, which was, I mean, how was the vibe for the All Star match in there, Grizz? Because it was fucking boring to watch.
Can I be honest with you, Cap?
Yeah.
I was
What-
across the
what is
road
it?
drinking Tiger beers outside the supermarket when the All Star match was on.
Well, yeah, they basically finished the All Star match and then did a quick reveal of Mirta, but
Yeah,
we
we were
Mirta's
back
not going to
in.
be
We were
available.
back in there for the announcement though, and it was
Oh, yeah.
pretty pogged. Like everyone was like
Pretty hype?
just very
Woo!
hype. Yeah, going pretty
New
nuts
hero.
when this.
Which, I mean, we
video
kind of
photo was
expected a
on.
new hero to get revealed here, right, Grizz? They tend to always reveal a hero at TI, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yep. So we had, I actually was trying to think about how this worked, but last compendium they had Year of the Beast, which was Primal Beast was a boss as part of like the playable dungeon. And then I believe that they announced that halfway through TI as the hero that was coming from that. So yeah, pretty cool. I mean, we don't know anything about this hero yet, really, Cap. We haven't seen any moves, just a very short cinematic kind of trailer of Murta walking through a graveyard, kind of cruising through. So,
this new hero till next year, early 2023. Which, I mean, technically, early 2023 could be anywhere up until July. Well, basically. So we could be waiting a while. So I guess we'll wait and see when we get it. But yeah, so there you go. If you're a Dota fan, you're gonna be getting a new hero soon.
Woo.
Grizz. Speaking of new heroes, and well, this one's not quite so new, but it is very unplayable right now. Mei from Overwatch has been disabled from the game because of a reason.
Don't tell them why. It was because they nerfed it because you're too good on that hero, Cap. And they had
true.
To
actually,
so
that's why I couldn't remember because I've ejected it from my memory because I'm scarred that they.
I do just want to say that I'm not kidding. Cap on Overwatch 1 Mei was bullshit. Like just freezing people and just
dude, I that was my favorite character by far. So she was so fucking OP, but she doesn't have the same stuff anymore. Like you can't freeze people, you can just slow them down. So it's nowhere near as fun anymore. So Overwatch 2 confirmed shit by Captain Perth. So
what was the real reason, Cap? I think is to do with her wall was buggy. They were able to allow players to climb her wall to get to places that are usually inaccessible. So
how did they not test that? What the fuck?
Well, I think they've done this a couple of times. I think a few other heroes have also been removed from the pool for short periods of time. So rather than like trying to fix these and hotfix these, they literally just remove them from the game and allow themselves to kind of work on them and fix the problems offline. So I actually don't know. Is she still off, Cap? I think Mei is still currently unavailable.
I believe 2
weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks. So you literally can't play Mei at the moment, which is the best character in Overwatch. So spewing, you be fucking spewing. So Overwatch 2 continues to be incredibly controversial. Not really. Anyways, but now Grizz, the piece de resistance. The main reason we make this podcast.
Yep.
Elden Ring data mine.
The Elden Ring. Now, we talked about data mines a couple of weeks ago, Cap, around there being like areas that were found through data mining that aren't in the game that are potentially set aside for DLC. So they've now found that there are some slots, like boss slots, where they usually have like items and weapons and stuff that are currently not being used. They're just reserved in. If you go to the actual bloke's Twitter page, which shows it better, but it shows all the things like, you've got Dragonkin Soldier and what it drops, like the Frozen Lightning Spear, and then you've got the Godskin Duo, and they drop a Smithing Stone and an Ash of War, and then you've literally got some that just say no item loot or like holds and bits and pieces throughout. So kind of like a placeholders for drops
for future stuff.
For future stuff. So
a pretty good chance that there's a bunch of new bosses coming in the DLC then.
I think they've got 30 slots there, is what they were saying, something like that.
30.
So whether they use
when
all those or not. But there you go. It's exciting nevertheless. So we're obviously hanging on some Elden Ring news, Cap, hanging on some DLC news, mate.
Surely we're going to be getting it at the Game Awards. I mean, it's almost been like, okay, it's 25th of February this year was when this game released, and we still haven't had any word on DLC. That's a long time, dude.
I actually
That's
need to do another playthrough, man, with all this gaming time that I've got.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing the same thing, but I don't have anywhere near as much time as I used to.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to prioritize God of War.
It's only going to get worse for you, my good friend.
Oh yeah. So
Then it gets heaps better.
Yeah.
I mean, my main time spent now is actually work. Like with my hour commute each day, I walk in the door at 6 and then kids down at 7, and then, like, I don't want to be going to bed too late. Don't want to burn the candle. So
aiming for the 9:30, 10 o'clock lights out.
What I need Mrs. Grizz to retire me, Cap. That's what I need. So I can
I'm waiting for me to do the same for me.
Video games, yeah.
Surely we've hit we're retirement age now, Grizz. 30 years old. That's about retirement age, isn't it?
Ready to go.
I would have thought that's maximum.
Absolutely.
Now, look, Grizz, 30 reserved flags for this Elden Ring boss stuff, which is kind of fucking pog.
Is that what it says?
Hopefully,
I think? Yeah.
Yeah, so 30 flag IDs for potentially 30 boss things. So what I would be worried about there, Grizzo, is if they do the old, 5 different varieties of the fucking Godskin. And
which
then,
they
5
have done in that game, haven't they?
Yeah, so hopefully that is 30 different unique bosses. I doubt it. I reckon there'll probably be a couple of bosses that are like just reskinned a few times and reused, which is look at the end of the day, that's fine. I hope that it's not the case.
We've got time here, Cap. But what is your actual expectation for the DLC, mate? Do you expect like a whole new area to explore, or a whole new couple of areas? Would you expect it to be the same size areas as the vanilla game? Well, I'm just trying to think what Bloodborne did. That was quite large, wasn't it?
Bloodborne was pretty bloody big, dude. Look, what would I expect? I really hope that they address some of the lore threads that they've left untied. So if they could kind of give us more information about some of the major characters in that game, like, I think what's his name? Godwin the Golden, who is basically the character that dies and starts the whole reason that all this shit happened is because of that particular death. That kind of spurs a lot of the story along. I mean, it's obviously a culmination of all things, but that's one of the big things that happened. So I'd love to know more about what happened with that. Also, what's is it Millennia? The one of the final bosses that you fight, Millennia. Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah. And I can't think of her brother's name. Millennia brother Elden Ring. Mikella. Okay. Mikella is the person in that egg behind Moog, basically. So I'd love for more stuff to do with Mikella, because there's a lot of in-game lore around Mikella and how Mikella was supposed to be like basically the land between saving grace and then just disappeared. I would love that. I just want lore stuff,
Yeah, they'll address that. I like Deb here. 20 different cat statue bosses, only slightly changed. Yeah,
I mean, that's literally
fucking cat statues were the worst, mate. Weren't they?
Dude, they were motherfuckers. Like, and they scaled as well, like quite dramatically.
My ass, the first.
Some of the later cat statues were brutal.
You
dude.
figure them out eventually, but like that one where he's like ready to chop you. And then he's got you rolling around the fucking room, and then he just goes bang, you're done, mate. Just like,
I hate how much they had in terms of just like pure like psych out moves, like what was his name at the beginning? The first boss, the first major boss.
Margit, was it?
Margit, yeah. And he's like
I tell you what, man, the delayed attacks were massive in that. They really get you going.
Yeah, but he would like psych you out with these ridiculously long wind-ups that you just were like, When's he gonna do it? When's he
Yeah.
gonna do it? It was crazy. But yeah, so look, in terms of what I expect from Elden Ring DLC, I would love a bunch of more bosses. I hope it's not too PvP focused because I couldn't care less about that, but I'm sure it will be. I think there's a lot of stuff that points to the idea that this next DLC probably has a significant PvP chunk tied to it.
The
But I
ongoing
do
player
hope that
base are mostly PvP players, right, Cap? So I guess that they're
Yeah.
trying to.
it makes
Trying to
sense that they
secure
would,
that.
probably kind of try to support those players because they're the ones that seem to stick around the longest. But I don't know, Grizz. What do I want
Bloodborne's
from
got no
Elden Ring?
PvP, mate, and that's your golden child. So
Yeah, well, that's well, it kind of has PvP, but not very good PvP. In all honesty, Grizz, what I want from Elden Ring DLC, just some fucking DLC, and I want to announce soon. Just announce it. Let me know it's coming. Let me know it's gonna be fucking massive.
Cap, I don't give a fuck about the lore. Just give me a couple of other big areas to explore, and I'll be happy, mate. That are different. Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go.
Some meaningful items, some meaningful shit. Maybe
with
a couple of
some
new
good lore
mechanics. I don't
descriptions.
know. Something different.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting because there's a lot of stuff that seems to have been cut from the original game that maybe they could reintroduce. So
the dream thing, mate, would be
the whole
fantastic,
dream thing going on, and getting NPCs drunk to go into their memories and stuff. It could be pretty cool. So yeah, very, very keen. But yeah, Grizz, that basically brings us to the end of this podcast for this week. So
that was really enjoyable.
Nice
to catch up with you bloody legends. It's been a couple of weeks for me, so get my chat about gaming and other things. It's been great.
Big time. But yeah, so as always, those listening at home, those listening at Twitch, thank you so much for supporting us. If you would like to watch live every week, we record generally on Mondays from 7 p.m. AWST unless specified otherwise. And if we specify otherwise, it will be done on twitter.com/OGR show. You can go and follow us there. We also release a podcast every week. A poll every week where you can vote about a thing that we'll talk about in the show. So, and if you'd like to leave a comment in there, we really recommend that you do because we'll probably talk about what you said, which is rad. So, so go and follow us on Twitter. You can go and follow us on, join our Discord if you would like to do so. You should be able to find a link in the description of this podcast and or right now in the Twitch chat. And as always, thank you to our Patreons. We really appreciate you guys supporting us financially, and that's fucking radical. If you would like to become a Patreon, go to patreon.com/OGR show, and you can sign up there. Now, a couple of things just to sort of sign off. Firstly, again, as always, please let people know about this podcast. It'd be really awesome to continue to organically grow, which we are already doing. But yeah, we just like to get the word out. And if you know people that might like this show, please feel free to do so. Also review it if you can in the podcast apps. That's a big one. And if you've got a chance, go to voting.australianpodcastawards.com and vote for us. I don't know what the categories are, but just fucking vote for us. That'd be great.
There is a listener one. Pav, you got something to say, mate?
You can only do listener's choice for that nomination.
Listener's choice. There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, even if we don't win, it'd be cool to get into the eyes of some podcast people. So yeah, look, if you get a chance, we'd appreciate it. If not, no walkers. Bloody love you anyway. But that's the end of this podcast. We'll catch you guys next week, Monday, 7 p.m. if you're watching live. Otherwise, you'll hear us in your ears whenever you choose to do so. So thank you. And good night. We'll see you next time.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Dude, its mouth was going fucking nuts. It's like this little fucking. I had it under my desk. Joyce was playing with it in here earlier. I don't even know what it is. He's going nuts. Good job, boys.
Solid episode, guys.
Well done. Howdy, chat, you legends. How you guys going? Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you, Agathor, if you're still here. G'day, mate.
I think
How's
Cap's
it going?
finalizing that recording. Grizz, do you have any suggestions for tonight's episode title?
Episode title. What did we talk about? I think it needs to be PSVR2. G'day, Moosey. PSVR2 centric, I reckon. What else was big? I reckon we just use that as our focal. PlayStation VR news? I don't know. Is it something to do with how expensive it is?
About the virtual reality of PSVR2. I don't know. Something like that. The pricing reality of the PSVR2.
G'day, Kazi.
I don't know,
How you
something
going,
like that.
man? Nice to see you, brother.
Pricing reality of virtual reality. VR.
Yeah.
PSVR.
Yeah.
This
The
is
pricing
under my
reality
desk.
of virtual reality. That's good. I like that. That's
Like
great.
that?
Pricing reality of virtual reality. Huge pog. Kazi, you going to buy PSVR2, mate, or what? Also, boys, we should definitely raid. I would like to raid.
Start to respect.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, yeah, that was a good one, Kazi.
Hank Sinatra tonight, boys. Hank Sinatra. He's a fucking legend.
PSDR is respect.
That's very good. That's
That's
fucking
too
funny.
fucking good. PSDR. That's good. I was like,
I don't know
"G'day,
what
Jim."
it is.
There you go,
Need to
mate.
watch the VOD. Yeah, hey, did you say Jim?
Yeah.
Jim. He's
You
in
know,
there.
straight jacket Jim.
There he is. Jim, it was good to
G'day,
see you on
mate.
Sunday.
Hey, Pav, I've shared a link to that thing. Again, I think you should have it. Now, I'm a bit worried about the beginning of it. I think it might be a bit fucked.
Yeah, but we
You can't
started
look
that well
stoked,
and
Kazi.
truly early,
Looks
didn't
good,
we?
mate.
We started
hope so.
recording quite early.
Let me just check to see how far, because it was like almost 10 minutes.
Ooh, ooh.
Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom. Ring, ba-ding, ding, diddle-diddle, diddle.
We'll see how we go. Where am I?
Oh, fuck. I think we're good.
We're good. Oh, thank
You
God.
good? Nice
let me
work,
Dude,
boys.
I need to make sure I have about 15 minutes of
15
recording.
minutes.
I know. I don't know what's going on, dude, but it like the first 15 minutes of it is basically fucked. Might need to make some time to try and figure out what's going on there. But anyways, I am uploading that now, Pavo.
You guys want me to set the raid?
Yeah, go for gold. I got to go and take over from me, guys. So I got to scoot. But
All good.
guys in chat, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I got to go and look after a small infant. I will chat with you all later. Love you all. Hope you're well.
Shit.
And yeah, enjoy the raid. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
I can't raid. I need you to raid,
All right.
Pav.
You don't have moderator.
Oh, can I do it?
Anyways, I'll chat to you guys later. Peace out, chat. Love you. See you, Stropsy. Good to see you in the chat, mate.
Two boys. See you,
Yeah,
see
I'll see you guys later.
So, yep. All right. We're setting up the raid. All right. Yeah, you did it. Proud of you.
Guys, we're gonna raid Hank Sinatra because I fucking love Hank. He's
Who is Hank
pretty legend.
Sinatra? What is he? doing?
He's like a Kaizo streamer. He's just a really cool dude. Every time I
Nice.
try, he rates me every time I stream. And I haven't had a chance to get him back yet because I haven't been streaming. But I'm going to be streaming soon, Pav.
Yes, I've
What happened,
heard.
mate?
We're, It sounds like we're both on the same page. We both wanted to jump back on that horse.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, you know.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
just
gonna aim to do my Saturday streams again.
I think I might do the same, man. Start small and work my way up, you know? What are you going to play, Pav? Do you know? Platformers, mate, or what?
I don't know if I'm gonna get a time. Like, I think I'm gonna change every week because I got so much content I want to do. I want to do cooking. I want to do quiz night. I want to do like a whole bunch of stuff. I want to do some couch co-op.
Yeah.
So I might just do like a hectic Saturday sesh all the time, like every other week, and then just do a mix of everything. Not sure when if I'll get to play much like games like I used to though, but we'll see. I do need to go
See
back
what
to some
happens.
Hollow Knight. But yeah.
Hollow Knight, yeah, baby. Sounds good.
Fucking love Hollow Knight. All right, we're gonna jump into this raid, guys. Join us. Thank you for some. Yes, let's throw those orcs in the chat.
Copy and paste these boys, and we'll see you in there. Rate hard, you
see you
bloody
there.
legends.
Bye bye.